Welcome to JCPS eSchool. My name is Ford Smith and I'm your instructor. Today's lesson is African Visual Art. Function. Egyptian art and culture represent only one area of the African continent. The artwork of cultures below the Sahara Desert is the subject of this section. The tropical climate and geographical features make this region the home of many different nations and kingdoms. The art of this region was a central part of the spiritual life of the people. The arts, visual art, storytelling, music, and dance, were woven together in ritual ceremonies. Their purposes could not be separated because they were all necessary to the ceremony. The masks, costumes, movements, and drum rhythms were distinct for each ceremony. The arts were used for teaching, celebration, praise of the deity, and commemoration of life events. When Europeans discovered the art of Africa, they looked at the sacred masks and statues as art objects instead of viewing them as part of a long cultural tradition. Question. While the arts were used for teaching, celebration, praise of the deity, and commemoration of life events, the art of tribal Africa was a central part of the blank life of the people. Next question. Here we have an object. It is a white mask, somewhat resembling a skull. There are painted on designs for eyes, a nose, and a wide open mouth. Question. Identify this object. Next question. Identify this object. It appears to be a large wooden elongated headpiece, very dark colored with slanted eyes, very long thin nose, and a long pointed chin. Next question, identify this object. It appears to be a mask composed of wood, has long tusks, a long trunk, long eyes, and very large ears. It is a stylized animal. Purpose. The tropical climate and the abundance of trees made wood a favorable sculptural medium. The climate also meant that the wood would decay rapidly, so there are no surviving sculptures from this region that are as old as the statues from Egypt. The masks that were used as part of the ceremonies could be remade as needed by a new generation of artists. The masks were usually a stylized version of a man or an animal. They were not intended to be realistic because they represented a spirit. The uses of masks in ceremonies could include the following. They could represent spirits or nature, discipline roles for community, such as scare into behaving, rites of passages, such as womanhood or manhood or birth, deaths or funerals, remembering a deceased ancestor, or therapeutic use, such as healing injuries. Today, these masks are admired for their beauty, but it is important to remember that they were valued by the African culture for their use as part of rituals that also included costumes, dance, music, and storytelling. Stylized. The masks above represent a stylized animal on the left and a human spirit on the right. Notice the use of line and shape in both. Every effort has been made to make each balance symmetrically. The decorations on the mask on the right represent the materials that were present in abundance in the sub-Saharan Africa, including wood, shells, and raffia grass. Question. Animal masks were often blank. Benin portraits. There are sculptures in Nigeria from the Benin Kingdom that were similar in purpose and materials to European art. Bronze was used to cast lifelike portraits of the king and his court. When a large shipment of these exceptional artworks arrived in Western Europe in 1897, scholars were astounded by their craftsmanship and beauty. More on the influence of the African art will be discussed in the modern and contemporary period. Question. Identify this object. The object in the question is two large brass sculptures resembling human heads with large rings around the neck.